Let's hear it. Look. Oh, almost dropped it. This is it. Please. It's heavier than my kid. Hello, welcome. I have a PS5. If this is your first time here, subscribe. It's an order, it's not a request. Like this video, whether you like it or not, and leave a comment. I am just getting started, so I appreciate the support. Join the Discord. I've been getting a handful of new Discord members, and we have an awesome community over there. Okay, so I realized that some of my favorite consoles I ever owned were my PS1, my Dreamcast, and my original Xbox. And now that I think about it, all of those systems I either had a mod chip for or it was a Dreamcast. You don't need a mod chip to play backups of Dreamcast games on most models. But for the last 19 years or so, my main platform has been Xbox, and not for any particular reason. Even though the original was one of my favorite consoles, I cherished it. I ended up buying a 360 before the PS3 came out, and the handful of people that I played online with just happened to be on Xbox. And this was all before crossplay was a thing, obviously. Now, I did own a PS2 and a PS3 during this time, but it was always secondhand after the hype, and it was always my secondary console, usually specifically to play exclusive games, which was almost always Little Big Planet for the PS3. But as I got back into gaming recently, I bought a couple Nintendo Switches, and I had my Xbox as my Game Pass machine and my place for cross-platform games. I actually did buy a PS4 back in early 2017 off a guy walking out of GameStop one day, but at that point there wasn't a whole lot that I was dying to play, and so I waited a few weeks and turned around and sold it for a profit. Now, between then and now, Sony had what seemed like massive hit after massive hit of exclusive titles that I just missed out on. You know, Spider-Man, God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, The Last of Us 2, Ghost of Tsushima. Frankly, I've been feeling a little bit of PlayStation FOMO ever since really rejoining the gaming community earlier this year. Everyone I became friends with had PS4 as their main platform, and I just saw post after post on social media of them just having a blast with these massive single-player, cinematic, story-driven games that I wasn't really able to experience. So I was thinking, you know, after the PS5 got announced, I had decided that I was going to try to rebuy a PS4, waiting until the price came down and picking one up for, you know, really cheap and playing some of these games that were released on PS4 that were exclusive that I didn't get a chance to enjoy. The only problem is that that price drop never happened. You know, normally when there's a new console generation coming out, everyone rushes to sell their current gen models. Between the pandemic and limited supply of PS5s and new Xboxes, the supply of used current gen systems just isn't there, and so it's keeping the prices pretty high. You know, and with this, I've just had a ton of stuff going on in my life, and so I conceded that 2020 was not going to be a year that I got a new console. The pre-order date came and went, and I saw the world burst into flames over the issues with supply, with sites crashing, with surprise openings of availability, and then canceling orders that were successful. I saw a lot of very angry people, and it was sad but entertaining, and I had made peace with the fact that I was not looking for a new console. You know, I was gonna wait until next year and pick up one or both of the new consoles in time when the time was right and availability was in a better spot. Then November 9th hit. There wasn't anything particularly special about that day other than it being the day before the new Xbox consoles came out, but suddenly I had a desire to buy a new console. It's funny because that day I was actually happened to be right next to a GameStop that wasn't very popular. It was kind of out of the way, and I had determined that I was going to walk into that GameStop and ask if there were any newly available pre-orders for any of the new consoles. If there were, I was going to buy it on the spot. Now, this story would be a lot cooler if I told you that the person walking out of the store as I walked in had just canceled their pre-order, and the serendipitous moment of me walking in determining that I needed a next-gen console and that opening being right there for my taking just managed to perfectly coincide with the universe, and everything that didn't happen. I walked in and they're like, no, there's nothing available. It was a day or so later that my buddy Beach Pizza Gaming, who has his own YouTube channel of awesome Switch gameplay videos, I'm gonna link right here, check him out. He was talking on my Discord channel about how he actually managed to land 3 PS5 pre-orders. He had pre-ordered from multiple retailers to make sure that at least one would make it on launch day because of all the issues with cancellations and delayed shipments and stuff like that. After a bit of discussion, he agreed to send me one of his spare PS5s that had come in on launch day at face value, which is awesome. He even covered the cost of shipping. Such a good dude. Now, it arrived recently and I have it here to unbox for you. Let's do it. All right, here it is. This thing is a beast. When I heard about how thin the outside box was, I still was surprised by how flimsy and easily tearable it is. I do like the simplicity of the inner box though. The cardboard is pretty basic, nothing spectacular. Here is the accessories box and the system with, I wish they didn't use the egg crate material. I wish they used some type of foam. All right, we got some manuals and legal stuff. And then under here, we should have the stand for both vertical and horizontal. And then a HDMI cable, power cable for the internal power supply, and the DualSense controller just wrapped in that little foam thing. I have to say I do love this DualSense controller. I've been playing with it and it just feels so nice to play with, especially those adaptive triggers and the haptic feedback. It's made a big difference. And here's the system. Got these nice egg crates and the foam wrapped around it. It does feel pretty loosely packaged, but I guess that doesn't really matter. Let's unwrap it. It is heavy. It's a heavy guy. And here it is. Now, I don't love the shiny center, but I do like the matte finish on the sides, and I love all the details with the X's and O's and squares and triangles. So I need to put the stand on. But yeah, it's a beast. I think I'm gonna paint these sides. So were you able to pick up a PS5 or an Xbox Series X or Series S? What was your experience like? Did you pre-order it? Did you land one in one of those windows that opened up at one of the retailers online? Did you switch from one platform to another this generation? Or did you stay the same? What do you like? What do you dislike? Give me your thoughts. Tell me below. Cheers. I'm having fun with it.